conservative American message, hosted by the one and only Cam Lau. It is Monday, September 16th, 2024, and you are listening to the 87th episode of this podcast. The English author Eric Ambler said, "The important thing to know about an assassination or an attempted assassination is not who fired the shot, but who paid for the bullet." If you support what we're doing here at the Conservative American Message, you can show us your support by giving us a 5-star rating and by following or subscribing wherever you listen. To stay up to date on everything we're doing, please follow us on social media at the Conservative American Message on Instagram and Facebook. Well, another presidential debate took place this past week, but this time we had a new face on stage. After Biden's forced resignation, Trump finally got a chance to face Kamala head-on. I really had high hopes for this debate. I mean, he really mopped the floor with Biden. How could he do worse with Kamala? I'm not sure how, but actually Kamala definitely did do better than Trump in this debate. He had a couple zingers in there, but mostly she was collected and prepared, while Trump didn't really elaborate enough to make him appear rational at all. It was honestly kind of painful to watch. Now, a caveat to this whole thing is that I have my doubts that in this current political ecosystem, that one vote will change as a result of this debate. The undecided voters did not receive any clarity from this spectacle from either candidate. I will say that the rules they carried over from the previous debate with Biden were very beneficial. These strict time limits and microphones that shut off when it isn't their turn to speak, once again, I really appreciate that format, so I think they should keep doing that. In fact, they should have been doing that back when there were like 300 Republicans on stage trying to run for president in the primary. But CNN was surprisingly much more fair in the Trump-Biden debate than ABC was in this Trump-Harris debate. For the first 30 minutes or so, I was pretty pleased with ABC. They were asking some legitimate questions to both the candidates, but as the night went on, their bias became much more apparent. The way that they tried to fact-check Donald Trump live when they couldn't provide any evidence to the contrary of what Trump was saying was done in poor taste. Not to mention the fact that Kamala's multiple untruths were never once corrected by any moderators. But Trump definitely lost the debate, and he lost it in the moment that he spoke up about the Haitians that are eating cats. Here's the deal. It's entirely true, but here's what was said in the debate.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
I just want to clarify here, you bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
The people on television saying their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
Again, the Springfield city manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice President Harris.
Okay, so Tuesday morning before the debate, I was watching the news and they were talking about this very thing. I Googled it as I was planning to do some research to talk about it here on the show, and there were a plethora of articles available about how these Haitian people were stealing and eating pets. Later this week now, all of these articles have disappeared. They've been wiped from all the websites. Google will give me no results besides just fact-checking Donald Trump's alleged false claims. And there's even a full Wikipedia page now created that is all about the Springfield, Ohio cat-eating hoax. But it actually is happening. It wasn't just Trump making these outlandish claims. This has been widely circulated on X with actual evidence. It was trending so high that even Elon Musk shared claims of it happening. These Haitian immigrants just don't know any differently. In their country, they kill and eat any animal they can find. So they're not just going to automatically adjust to our American culture of having pets in our homes just for fun. They see every animal as food. And I'm not trying to be racist at all, or condemn these people who have come here for a better life. Now, stealing the pets is wrong, but eating cats and dogs, that's just normal where they're from. and it's our job as Americans to conform immigrants to our culture. But that only happens when they enter legally, rather than just opening up the floodgates and waiting for all hell to break loose. After Trump brought it up in the debate, though, they really painted him as the bumbling idiot, with great success. Every sentence out of her mouth was a perfectly polished lie, but Trump did catch her a couple of times. I had assumed going into the debate that abortion would be the one issue that she would just nail him on, because it's supposed to be the biggest issue in this whole entire election. But to my surprise, Trump actually cornered her when the subject came up, and he took the conversation to the topic of late-term abortions.
You should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer the question? Would you
because
veto?
Under Roe v. Wade,
answer the question. Would you veto?
You could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th month.
Now, while she refused to answer whether she would support terminating a child that has already even been born, Trump did eventually say that he would not sign a national abortion ban. And while I would like nothing more than for him to sign a national abortion ban, and I don't think it would even hurt him politically, at least he has some clarity on where he stands on the issue. She cannot even tell us where she stands because the truth of what she believes would horrify most of the nation. Trump wrapped up the whole debate pretty nicely, though, by pointing out the fact that Kamala is essentially an incumbent who is making promises on things that she has been unable to deliver in her 3.5 years already in office.
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it, and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like we're not going to frack, we're not going to take fossil fuel, we're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not.
This election is an emotional one for most Americans, but everyone knows intellectually that we were better off 4 years ago when Trump was in office. He is a flawed man, and he doesn't get things right 100% of the time, but it is no comparison to the terrible path we're currently being led down. Destroying our economy, neocons pushing us into World War III on multiple fronts, and criminals from around the world pouring over our borders. Trump is not a threat. He is our only hope. The best part of the whole debate came when Trump responded to the most vicious of attacks from Kamala Harris.
Response here, Vice President Harris, on this notion of weaponization of the Justice Department.
Well, let's talk about extreme and understand the context in which this election in 2024 is taking place. The United States Supreme Court recently ruled that the former president would essentially be immune from any misconduct if he were to enter the White House again. Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States, that he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails, because certainly we know now the court won't stop him. We know J.D. Vance is not going to stop him. It's up to the American people
Vice President
to stop
Harris.
him.
Thank you. Lindsay?
Vice President Harris, in your last run for president.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation that went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to.
And not only has Trump been shot in the head once, this last weekend there was another attempt on his life. On Sunday, he was golfing at his course in West Palm Beach when Secret Service agents spotted an individual with a rifle in some bushes a few holes ahead, about 400 yards away from the president. Secret Service shot at the guy and he fled the scene. He was found later and taken into custody in the next county over. The Democrats will continue to promote this radical anti-Trump rhetoric regardless of the danger it poses to Trump or anyone. Kamala had no problem doing so in the debate, and she will have no problem continuing to do so indefinitely. Even if she wins this election, they will continue to bastardize Trump until they get somebody to kill him. The mainstream news will do the same. They'll keep portraying him as this evil dictator that must be taken out. And that kind of talk should be investigated by Secret Service as a threat, because I am honestly very afraid for Trump's life at this point. These attempts are not going to stop. They will take him out if they find the perfect opportunity. Look how close they were at Butler. If Trump is killed, I will expect a full-on revolt from the American people. But I really hope it doesn't come to that, because that's not what I think this country needs, and I don't think you guys think so either. The Democrats have made it clear that their strategy for Kamala's campaign is isolate, debate, and assassinate. But that's all I have time for. Were you offended by this podcast? Good. Thanks for listening, guys. I really appreciate you all. Have a great week and stay consistent.